Two questions, Mr. President.
I can take a few questions from the media.
Mr. Joseph Morong of GMA7.
Sir, good evening po. Joseph sa GMA7. Sir, I'm sure with regard to, with due respect, Chief Albayalde, I'm sure you've been apprised of what happened in the Senate investigation on the Ninja Cops, and you've talked to both General Magalong and General Albayalde. First, maybe you know your thoughts about Chief Albayalde.
I have many thoughts from both sources, newspaper, gossips, chismis, everything. So, nauna ang Senate. In obedience to the separation of powers and respect for each other's department, I should allow the Senate to complete its investigation. Then, if it is sent to me, I do not have the investigators in my office. Ang tao ko lang sa office of the apat lang. Tatlong babae, isang major, dalawang lieutenants, and of course my aides, for the Army, Navy, may isa ako. Yan lang ang staff ko. I do not do investigations. So the most proper thing to do, which is in line with procedural due process, is to await for the closure of the investigation by the Senate, and when it is forwarded to me, since it is under, the police is under DILG. It's a bureau under Secretary Anyo. So I will forward it to him, give him a specific period to complete his investigation. Not so short, not too long, but a period of time that is comfortable if he needs to call people. But all he has to do is to review. And if he needs to conduct altogether another investigation, he can do so. We are not totally bound by the investigation of other departments. Though I would say that most of the testimony or declarations given in the Senate were under oath. I suppose that everybody was telling the truth there. So, konting panahon yan. But procedural due process must be followed. I cannot just wait for the Senate, its report, then adopt it as my own. Okay ba yan?
Sir,
Walang sanction kasi ang Senate. But when I decide on the basis of the report of Secretary Anyo, I can dismiss, discharge, terminate any and all of them. So hintayin ko yan. But we will be fair. There has to be, alam mo, ang PNP is not that bad. By and large, we have a very good PNP working for our country. Yung scalawags dyan sa yung Ninja Cops, have been there in Manila, one or two in Davao, and everywhere. Yung amin sa probinsya, natapos na namin. The Ninja Cops dito sa Greater Manila area are known for their ferocity, viciousness, and toxicity. I am sure the investigations will bear these things right.
sir, how do these things, no, yung mga lumabas po sa Senate and then even yung mga information na nakarating sa inyo, how does this affect your confidence in General Albayalde in terms of leading the drug war, which is one of the key programs of your administration?
Well, I would not preempt Secretary Anyo, but I leave it to him to decide. But the only thing was that if you really want to know, this does not bind Secretary Anyo of what might be his conclusion. He was, Albayalde was, happened to be the provincial police director at that time. But yung Ninja Cops, that is his only, well, if you say, if you have to insist, that is his only link, that, na yung mga tao na yun, were under his command. Up to that point, I don't know if Secretary Anyo would, I do not want to preempt. But I would say that this is not a brief for Albayalde, but you know, if it comes to a serious thing as dismissing a top official here and there, it has to be for a good reason, and there must be enough proof.
So, sir, we have not reached that maybe litmus test na you're prepared to probably let go of the chief? We have not reached that point yet.
No, I will.
Wait for it.
Our emotions, our disappointments and anger do not come to play in investigations. Anyo, I'm sure, would be in his proper equanimity when he begins the investigation.
Thank you, Mr. Joseph Morong. May we call on Ms. Joyce Banancio of ABS-CBN?
Good evening, Mr. President. Mr. President, what is your take or how are you taking yung proposed bill of U.S. senators proposing for the ban of Philippine officials who are involved in the detention of Senator Laila de Lima?
I have the best adjective for that. Pero at this time, I will just hilaw pa yan eh. At the best, hilaw pa yan. When it becomes ripe, then I will say my piece.
But do you think, sir, it's a form of interference to...
Hindi naman. These are the voices of the members of a committee. And if the committee will report the resolution to the plenary, and the plenary would adapt or join them, and that would be the act of Congress. I do not deal individually with the congressman or senators there. Hindi pa hinog yan. It is not an act of state. It does not carry the mandate of the entire Senate. So if there is one or two or three who says that these things exist in the Philippines, let them. I cannot help them in their ignorance. So if they decide to report it out of the committee to the plenary for adoption, and it becomes, it is now ripe, it becomes a matter now between two states, then that is the time maybe the State Department or Trump and I will have to talk. And I will talk.
Do you think, sir, it's proper also for the government to also ban these senators here in the country?
Wala pa naman sila. Those are proposals. And proposals are what they are. simply proposals.
So you don't see any need for us to ban them as well?
I said when the proper time comes, when it is
Will you task the Secretary of Interior and Local Government to investigate on this regarding the two senators, U.S. senators?
no, we will waste our time. Why would I waste my time investigating to
Sir, on another topic, what is your reaction or how are you taking the recent reports on hazing?
again, this is a subject of so many investigations. The police and the PMA hierarchy itself. Patapusin mo muna. Ang akin dito you know what? Huwag mo akong tanungin kasi eventually the administrative case, pupunta yan sa akin for final. Kung mag-reconsider, motion for reconsideration, the final appeal administratively is to the Commander-in-Chief, ako. So, prudent would demand that I just keep it to myself. O whatever I know, newspapers lang yan, chismis,
But definitely, sir, we will act on these incidents, sir, once it reaches your office. There will be new directives or commands from the Office of the President to address this issue.
well, I would say that it would greatly depend on what is recommended. The PMA would have one administratively, and the police might have another. Doon na lang.
Do
Thank you,
want-
Ms. Joyce. Banancio, we have to go.
Pabigyan mo
O
siya.
sige, isa pa.
Sir, do you
Bukas pa naman tayo alis sa Russia.
But sir, personally, do you want to eliminate hazing entirely in the country? Are you in favor? Or is
Alam
even
mo-
possible pa, sir?
Alam mo, ma'am, I don't know what, but that is a permanent insanity sa mga ganon. Lahat kami dumaan ng, I'd like to tell you, I was hospitalized for 3 days. Massive hematoma. Then, at one time in ako si Justice Boji Santos ng Supreme Court, si Bambet Mendoza, another classmate of mine, dalawa yan sila. We wrote our fraternity and asked earnestly to do away with the physical. Wala rin. Hindi mo talaga maalis yan. Ikaw, pumasok ka, pag nahuli ka, sorry ka. Hindi mo talaga matanggal yan, ma. Unless you ban fraternity for all time. Make it a criminal offense by joining a fraternity, but that would raise so many constitutional issues. Hindi ba talaga mapigilan niya?
Would you ask, sir, the Congress to pass a law criminalizing hazing, sir?
Yeah, hazing that's carried too far. Tapos yan, human degradation. Yung you order the plebs the lower class to perform mga oral sex, ganon. That is, hindi trabaho ng lalaki yan. Yung hiyain mong isang, tingin mo, pagka mabrad mo na, anong tingin mo sa kanya? Anong tingin niya sa iyo? That will create a lifetime animosity. Yan tama-tama lang. Yung pag madala sa ospital, mabuhay. Huwag naman yung mamatay. Pwede mo maalis yan. Noon pa yan, Santo Tomas, Haising, sa amin, dito sa record kami, 3. In the years that starting sa yung generation ko. Prangka-prangka na, hindi mo maalis yan. Huwag lang sumobra. Kaya sinobrahan mo. You know, there are rules to follow. You break the rules, you go to jail. Ganoon lang yan. Or you die. Those are simple matters in life. But hazing, hindi mo maalis yan.
Thank you, Ms. Joyce. Last question, Mr. President. Last question.
Sir, sorry.
Joseph Morong.
As far as the 13 Ninja Cups are concerned, sir, meron na pong resolution as far as early as 2014. And apparently, most of them are still in the service. Some may COP and then some are in the Intel group. Nasa radar screen niyo po ba yung decision to dismiss ito pong 13 this early, or do you still have to wait for the Senate investigation again?
The man of the hour is
Yeah, yeah.
Secretary Anyo when he gets hold of that. When it is already in his hands and within his authority to hear it and meet the proper punishment. Kanya ho yan. Then I review.
Thank you, sir. Have a safe flight.
Thank you. Thank you, MPC. Thank you, Mr. President.
Wala pa siya. Saan na yun? Yung nandyan sa likod nagatago. Shh, saan ka? Hilain mo daw. Nandyan yan siya nagatago sa likod. Is Ina there? O yung isa, yung Lana? No more?
No more, Mr. President.
Are you sure? Are you all satisfied? So from now on, do not look at me, please. Look at Secretary Anyo, the handsome boy of the ILG. Huwag ninyo akong ano yun.
Thank you.